Hello, everyone. This is Will.
Oh, this is Alex.
Welcome back to another episode of They Mostly Come Out at Night.
Mostly.
Oh, it is. Last year was
Yeah, last year. Wow.
We're in a new year, man. 2022. We made it. Made it past 2021.
We survived.
At least it wasn't as bad as 2020, but, we don't like to talk about that year.
No, not outside of our podcast.
No. Oh, by the way, we have seen the most growth ever on our YouTube in the month of December. So thank you very much for everyone who subscribed.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoy it. We have tons of episodes you can listen to. And if you're new, we're everywhere else. We're on YouTube. We're on all your favorite podcasting sites. We're even on Spotify, iMusic, or whatever it's called. I don't use iOS.
Radio,
so
yeah.
We're everywhere.
Everywhere.
Everywhere you find podcasts, whatever your platform is,
we're there.
We're on it.
So subscribe,
So
follow,
subscribe,
whatever.
follow, rate us, whatever you want to do. But yes, if you're new, welcome. And, if you subscribe to the month of December, thank you very much. We really appreciate it. And we're pretty excited about the future of this podcast.
For some godforsaken reason, you decided to click subscribe on us.
We're excited about this little tiny podcast we have going on, okay?
Yeah.
Like, we like it. We hope you like it. And that's our spiel.
That's all I can ask for.
That's all we can ever hope for.
So quick house cleaning.
Yeah, we have another announcement.
For
A less exciting one.
Less exciting, but listen, there's going to be a lot of stuff for all of you new people. There's a lot of stuff here.
Yeah.
So I will be, because of me, for work reasons.
Alex is bamboozling all of us.
I'm going to be all the way across the country until April.
Yes.
So after this Tuesday, that's going to be our last episode until April.
Yep.
Now, I would love to not have to do that, but life is life.
You got to do what you got to do, Alex. We get it.
Because, unfortunately, we do have jobs and things like that.
Yeah.
Outside of this.
Mm-hmm.
But just letting you guys know, in case for whatever reason you catch this episode and not the next one, I will also mention on that one too, be a broken record.
We're just taking a brief hiatus. It's going to be a couple months so that Alex can go, wherever he needs to go and do whatever he needs to do.
But the podcast will still go when I'm back, so we're not dead.
It's kind of funny. This isn't Alex's fault. It's we're not monetized yet because we don't have enough subscribers like we just talked about. So we can't make this our permanent job yet.
Well, listen.
You know what would happen if this was our permanent job? No hiatuses.
Hey, if some sugar mama or sugar daddy, I don't discriminate, out there wants to just drop like a $2 million in my PayPal account,
I'd be okay with that.
That's fine by me.
We would gladly keep making the podcast.
I'm not saying I will do favors for you, but I would appreciate that.
I'm not saying I would do favors for you, but I'm not saying I would do favors for you.
Maybe I'll cook you a nice chicken dinner. I don't know. It's fine.
I'd go a little further, but Alex aims low.
Yeah. 2 million, 1 million, like just drop it in our PayPal account. That's fine. Or my Venmo, whatever. But
then guess what? No hiatuses.
Then I don't gotta go fucking anywhere.
but as it is right now, we do have jobs, so yeah.
But just so you guys know, like, if you're like, what the fuck, they're not recording, we're not dead. It's fine. Like, we'll be back, and you'll have almost 200 episodes of bullshit.
Yes, that you can listen to. Just go re-listen. Sometimes even I go re-listen to some of my favorite episodes.
Yeah, sometimes I need to catch up. I need to be like, wait a minute, what was this movie?
We got some great ones,
and live streams.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're on YouTube, you got even more content.
Sorry,
because you got the 6-hour live streams that we never seem to get right.
Something
which I guess is par for the course for this for our podcast.
Would it be?
Would it be Team Cone if we didn't fuck something up in the live stream?
We don't try. It just happens.
It just does. We set it up as best as we can,
and it sounds great.
Something happens,
but halfway through, like, something goes wrong.
But yes, anyway, so yes, housekeeping's out of the way. Subscribe.
Movie.
Hiatus. Now to the movie. We watched
The Final Terror.
The Final Terror, and yeah, this movie is really good. So before we get into like spoilers, if you like kind of like how would you describe it? Like almost like Deliverance in a way.
I mentioned
it's not exactly the same as Deliverance, obviously, but it kind of gives that vibe.
Well, the reason I mentioned Deliverance is because it's almost like a survival horror. It's not like it's like a slasher, but it leans very heavily into like survivalist.
But there's
stuff.
some like revenge elements in there.
Well, it's just like this thing of like out in the wilderness, and you have this group of people, and it's just like their mental state is slowly falling apart.
No, I also want to say if you like bleak movies,
yes,
this movie is bleak as hell. There is no like happy like ending or anything like that. So if you like those kind of movies that we're describing, do yourself a favor and watch this before we get on with the review.
Yes.
Just because so you don't spoil it. But there will obviously, like every other fucking review we ever have done,
we go in depth.
If you're new here, we go in depth. So this is our critique and overview of this movie.
Yes.
So yes, if you don't like spoilers, go watch this movie and then come back and listen to us.
Now, I have seen this movie before because I first found this movie because I like the director of this. He would later go on to do The Fugitive with Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
He did what kind of everyone says is Chuck Norris's best movie, Code of Silence. He did Under Siege, Steven Seagal's best movie. He did a bunch of like really good genre films, but this is one of his first movies.
This kind of has almost like the bones of those movies, though. Like there is definitely some elements he uses in this movie that you can tell transferred over to those,
one of the things
more well-known movies.
With all of his other movies is he loves like on location, kind of in the nitty-gritty type of filmmaking, which this really has.
Well, in a way, he almost goes where like not a lot of filmmakers are willing to go. So like even the Fugitive, it's like they're in like the sewers and everything, and like it's like, I'm guessing it was like actual sewers they were filming in. So like, because the water was all dirty and grimy, and like,
they're all like in wet clothes and.
Yeah, so he's not afraid to make his crew like get into it,
Yeah.
Which is great, and you can definitely tell in this scene. I just like there's some parallels there.
Oh yeah.
So but yeah, like let's get into the Final Terror. So for
fun fact,
some god awful reason, you don't need to watch the beginning of this movie.
Well, it's funny because if you look it up on like IMDb, one of the first things that they mention is that this opening was filmed after the movie was already done at the insistence of like the studio and the producers.
Yeah, which it's kind of crazy because when you watch the rest of the movie, you can tell how unnecessary and how like it doesn't look like anything else in the movie.
Well, it's very disconnected because, it doesn't even feel like the same crew.
Well, no, and it's just like you said, they have to get that one zinger in the beginning of the movie because
otherwise, how would people know?
Well, it won't set the tone for the rest of the movie, Alex, if we don't put that in there, okay?
Well, it's also one of those things where, like, it's obviously...
big-wig, idiot, stupid Hollywood producer was like, we need a violent scene at the beginning so they know what kind of movie they're... It's like...
Well, it's obviously, like, it's like a low-budget kind of almost indie film, so, like, they're not in any position to, like... argue.
Well, no, I'm sure they did their due diligence, but they didn't you can tell they didn't fucking care, so they just made a quick throwaway scene to slap at the beginning of the movie.
My theory is it's probably not even the same fucking director. It's just like...
Well, because it just shows a bunch of shots of the woods, and then there's like these, for some...
Well, there's shots that are obviously from the film, like the later parts, because it's like... the movie's filmed in like the California redwoods.
Is your hand okay? Just hit like fucking smacked the shit out of the mic stand.
It's alive.
Okay, good.
But it's obviously like filmed in like the California redwoods. It's very lush, and there's shots of that, and it's like okay,
Well, and then for some reason there's this couple on a motorcycle,
and it's a completely different forest.
What's weird is they for no reason go
There's a bunch of leaves,
lose control and slide, and the
And
guy
fall
gets
off.
trapped under the motorcycle,
She lifts it off.
and she goes and runs for help to a ranger station that's not even remotely in the movie.
Well, no, the whole thing is on the movie because the forest, completely different vegetation, looks a lot drier, which is how you're like, okay, they filmed this in like Los Angeles. Or
Yeah,
something.
it's not as like lush.
It's just like a canyon outside of L.A.
Right.
And yeah, the ranger station is there's like a fence and like a power plant. It's just like
So she runs.
Okay.
She runs back, and he's like dead, hanging on a
well,
tree.
first she doesn't see him,
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
and yeah, then he's just dead and like his throat's kind of slit, and then she runs and hits like a tripwire, and there's there's 2 sticks, and there's
This is the stupidest kill because it's so fucking dumb.
well, it makes no sense.
Well, this would never. I don't think this would
Kill you.
actually kill someone.
Right.
I think it would hurt you a lot, but I don't think it would kill you at all.
No.
There's no way this kills this person.
It's like a bunch of sticks, and they have like it's like the top of cans when you've like cut open a can of like beans.
Yeah, you know how it's sharp. Can you actually you get like a little cut?
A little cut on your finger. It's
like
a
an
bunch
ow,
of those,
like oh damn that hurts kind of cut.
it's a bunch of those glued to 2 sticks, and they swing at her, and it's implied that it kills her.
Well, you know why? Because they splash a bunch of blood on them.
This tomato juice.
They splash.
That came out of the cans themselves.
They're like, well, we have opened all these cans of tomato juice. Might as well splash it on these branches right here.
Oh, it cost us $5 to film this.
It's a stupid trap. It's a stupid way to murder
Well,
someone.
it's just like
can lids. Like who was like, oh, okay, this is clearly why I think it's either a different director or they really didn't fucking care.
well, it's like the tone and the way it's filmed is so disconnected from
Yeah.
everything else.
But that's okay because after this, it finally the movie starts.
The actual film starts.
So the first 10 minutes of the movie, just don't even worry about it.
Don't worry about that.
Watch the rest of the movie. So we get is it a military camp? Is
It's
that
like-
right?
it's like
or is
park
it
rangers.
Park rangers,
Yeah.
okay. But they're like trainees, aren't they?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, we get like a park ranger, he's pulling into a station and like a bunch of like guys are sleeping. And one of the guys is in his bunk and you see like a hand creep up and like grab him by the chin. And he gets all freaked out and they turn the light on and it's one of the superiors, like
Edgar.
his name is Edgar.
And he's very hardcore, and you can tell that like all of them don't really take him seriously.
Well, you can also it's kind of like one of those characters where you can kind of tell there's like a screw loose.
Yeah.
Like he's kind of off in a way.
Yeah.
Where he's just like too extreme or like doesn't get along well with like anyone really.
Yeah.
Because he's holding like a metal bat and he's like banging it on everything and like waking them all up and like
Threat and calling all of them like pigs and like
Yeah.
he's
And then-
doing like almost like the drill sergeant thing, but
Yeah.
he's not really a drill sergeant.
So he wakes one of them up and they like point a knife at his his crotch.
Yeah.
And he gets all freaked out and like goes back. And then it's that morning and
They're gonna all they're all taking like this group of girls out camping and river rafting.
yeah, so it's like one of the main rangers has like a girlfriend
And it's all of her friends.
it's all of her friends that are coming along, but they have to make Edgar.
He's the bus driver.
He's the bus driver, so he's gonna drive them to pick up the girls, drop them off so they can camp and hike to where the rafts are gonna be, and then raft down the river.
where he'll then pick them up.
He's gonna pick them up and take them back to the ranger station,
Rangers,
and
yeah.
just a fun rafting trip.
A fun little
like a day off,
wilderness.
But he's trying to the main guy's trying to write it off as like they're actually doing some ranger stuff.
Yeah.
Because they're not technically supposed to do that.
They're not supposed to, but yeah.
But and they're going into like a
And there's a little I mean, this is like one of those things where it's like you should just left it as is, because when they're like all like talking and stuff, there's like a radio, and on a radio there's a report about 2 missing hikers in the woods, or 2 missing kids.
I think they actually specifically mention the area that they are going to go to.
That they're missing in.
Yeah, that they're missing in.
So it's like, you can tell that, you know, who the big brain producer who wanted that opening was like, well, you mentioned that on the radio, so you should actually show it in the movie.
This just proved that the producers just think the audience is fucking stupid.
Well, it's just one of those things where it's like that little detail in the background is so much better.
Right, that would have given us all the foreshadowing we need.
Because even then, like...
They should not... We already know, like, something is going to go down, but this proves that, like, some shit has already happened in the woods to make them... Maybe they shouldn't go there, but they're not paying attention to it.
And even, like, Edgar tells them, like, you shouldn't...
Yeah, he's kind of weird about it, because he's like, you definitely shouldn't do that. You should go to, like, this other place. It's going to be better. The rafting's not even going to be good. He's, like... really trying really hard to convince them not to go to the certain place that they want to go to.
Yeah, Mill Creek.
Yeah, like
how fitting.
And it almost seems like he maybe like knows the area, but we don't know why at this point.
He's not telling them
because he just says like, oh, like that's not safe, but he seems to know the layout.
It rains too much. It's
well, he seems to know the layout really well.
Yeah.
In this area, but he tells them not to go. So a little bit of foreshadowing for you, but don't worry, it's not what you think.
But they all, they all get together, they get in their bus, they pick up the girls, and as they're driving there, they drive past a mental institution.
Well, one of them like makes an off comment of like, "Hey Edgar, isn't that where you grew up?" And like
all this stuff, like, isn't that where you come from? And like he just kind of looks at them.
Well, he gets all like silent, so like you're thinking like, well, maybe
they're just picking on him.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
but and the whole time there, he keeps telling them, like, you shouldn't go there.
He's like, listen, let me take you to this other place. It's really good. The trails are really nice. Like, the rafting's really good. You should not go to Mill Creek is where they're going. So they go anyway, obviously, because, you know, in a horror movie, you never listen to people that are trying to warn you.
Yes.
Because you want to have fun.
That's
you don't
fine.
care that you're going to die.
It's fine. It's safe.
It's fine. Everything will be fine. Edgar's just weird. It's not gonna.
Nothing bad happens.
Nothing bad is gonna happen.
Nothing bad happens in this movie. To nobody. It's fine. But they get there. You know, they're all unpacking and like.
Well, so basically, what they do is Edgar drops them off, and they're gonna leave like equipment they don't need in the bus, and like one of them knocks a quick foreshadowing too. One of them, like, is getting their stuff out and knocks over a bunch of cans of peaches, like these big industrial-sized cans of peaches.
And Edgar's like, give me that.
He's like, I'll take care of those. And he throws them back in the bus, and then...
They're just like, whatever.
Yep, so he drives off as they all hike down to... he, like, hassles one of them, and then he drives off to go get the rafts ready. And so they camp out on the lake. I mean, on the... Not the lake, sorry. On the stream, like there's a stream, a river, and they camp out in this like rocky area. Does anything happen the first night? Is this when they go hunt for?
So not really. I'm trying to think if it's the first night.
Is this when they go hunt for weed?
Yes.
Okay, because so like a bunch of them are sleeping at the fire, and like 3 of the guys. So 2 of the guys are gonna go up. And one of them wants to join in with the 2 guys.
Because they're looking for
They're going to
weed.
go, like, hunt weed because...
Because earlier, when they're, like, in the river and stuff, and they're all, like, setting everything up, they're like, one of them's like, hey, I bet there's some, like...
Well, they mentioned
some
something...
farms up here and stuff.
They mentioned something about, like, hippies in the woods.
Yeah.
That, like, have shot people for trying to steal their, like,
trespass
crops.
on their property.
So they do it anyway, so they go up, and, like, the guy wants to join in. They're like, well, like, we don't usually cut people in, but... You know, if you want to, you'll get 20%. And he's like, nah, 1/3. So they negotiate, and he's like, okay, 1/3. What you got to do is howl every 40 seconds for a few hours for us.
Yeah, well, first I tell him, like, you got to howl like a wolf. And then he's like, well, shouldn't I howl if someone's, like, if I see someone, it's like, no, that's stupid. Once the howling stops, then that's when we know.
Well, because he basically explains that, like, you howl so much that if the farmer comes over and says, what you howling for? And then the howling will stop, and that warns them that they're not there. But it doesn't matter because they're just pranking the guy.
It eventually turns to a big prank that they're just fucking with him. But there's like a shot where he's like laying on a log and howling, and you see like a
a bush like being pulled away.
It's called a split diopter shot, where it's like a double focus. So there's like something in like the background and then something in the foreground, and it's like equally in focus. But it's like he's all the way in the back, and then in like the front there's like a tree, and you see like some like bushy, it almost like a ghillie suit. It starts like moving.
Yeah, and then you see the other two guys, and he actually fell for it. Okay, let's get out of here.
And then it's like next day, everyone wakes up, and they see that he's not there.
Like, where'd he go? Like, did he go for like a nature hike? So the main guy that brought them all there is gonna go look for him
because they admit that they fucked with them, basically.
Yeah.
And then
they go to where like they left him howling, and the guy tells them, the other two kids, to go back and get his girlfriend
because they take him there and they just see his like bandana hanging there, and that's it.
And they're like, okay, we'll go back, get my girlfriend, we're gonna look up the stream, you go downstream, and we'll see if we can meet in the middle, and see if we can find him. So he starts looking, and then the girlfriend comes by, and she starts looking for him, and they're both looking for Marco, who's the one that's lost. And the counselor, or like the main guy, he finds like a little waterfall,
lovely little waterfall, and takes
like a
swim.
little stream, a little like water pocket in the stream, and decides to take a new dip.
And his girlfriend comes along,
and she like freaks him out with her feet, and
they start making out, and they start fucking.
And you know what that means in a horror movie?
Literally, right away,
he gets fucking.
It's like I don't even know how to explain it. It's like a fucking knife that you like grip, and it goes up like the side.
It's almost shaped like it's like a curved blade. It's almost like a boomerang.
Yeah.
It because it has a straight handle, but then the blade part of it like swings forward, kind of like a sickle, but it's a really fat sickle.
It's almost like a kind of knife that you can like grab and like use to like climb up like trees and stuff.
Yeah.
Which I'm assuming is the point.
Right. Yeah, but I have no idea what the fuck it's called.
I'm not a nature person.
So anyway, like he gets like sliced in the back a bunch of times, and she starts screaming.
And then you see like she gets like taken away.
Yeah, she gets dragged down, and so that's the end of that story for now.
And then it's like really quick, I totally fucking forgot. The first night, when they're at the campfire, one of them they start telling like scary stories.
Oh yeah, and one of them tells a story about how
there was a woman who was like she lived at like a logging camp in the woods.
Yeah.
And one day she was raped by a guy who was basically like providing for everybody. And she was like, she couldn't tell anybody what happened because she was so scared. And then she became pregnant with a child, and she ended up going crazy because she couldn't tell anybody what happened.
Yeah.
So she was committed to an insane asylum, and it was the one that they drove past. And the kid ended up growing up in like a foster home.
Yeah.
And then one day he came back to the asylum to see what happened to his mom. He got angry at how they were treating her, and he basically took her out of there.
And into the woods.
And that now she lives in the woods. And then, one of their friends, like, spooks all of them. And it's like, it's a big joke. But the whole time, he's telling that story. Edgar's in the back, like, just kind of glaring.
Yeah. When he gets, like, pissed off for some reason.
Yeah, and he gets angry. He's like, what are you telling them? That's stupid.
Yeah. And so, the guy gets murdered. She gets taken. And then they're, like, all going to go to sleep. And then all of a sudden, one of them, they're all sleeping. And you just see like this dirty ass hand come on one of them, and she like a woman's voice starts whispering in her ear.
Yeah.
And
it's like these black nails and black
the
fingertips.
girl wakes up, screams, and like everyone's freaked out, and thinks like, okay, like,
because at this point they're also like not sure where they're like the couple is.
Someone's fucking with us. I don't know what's going on. And then one of the girls goes up to use the outhouse.
Because what happens is they're sitting there and then they see like a figure in the distance,
like walk across the river,
and they're like, what the hell is that? What is that? And then it's Marco.
Yeah.
And he's been fucking with them.
Yeah, Marco's been fine the whole time. He was just like going everywhere, and he found weed.
He found the stash.
And so one of the girls gets pissed off, and she's gonna go use the outhouse. So she goes in there and like starts like setting up and everything, and then like, oh, we didn't even talk about the part where they found the cabin.
The cabin, I was gonna say. Yeah.
Sorry, my bad. Like, erase that from your memory for a sec.
So when they're looking for Marco,
rewind real quick.
The two guys that pranked him, they end up finding a cabin in the woods.
Yeah, so there's like in the one of the dresser, in one of the like the cupboards, there's like a wolf head.
Well, first, I mean, lots of call it world building, I guess.
Yeah.
Because the cabin has there's chicken coops with chickens.
Well, there's also like an old raft that was used by
rangers.
Yeah.
There's a little gated area with a goat. But they go in and they go into the cabin. It's dirty, and they found a wolf's head. But they also find the food.
Right, the canned peaches. Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, fucking Edgar's been here. What the hell's he doing?"
Yep.
And they found a wig.
They found a wig and women's clothing.
Yeah, women's clothing, and they're all just like, he's doing freaky shit up here.
Yeah, so they blow it off.
Because they find his hat too.
They're like, it must be Edgar must be doing something. So they're already suspecting Edgar of doing something weird, and this the paranoia just builds from here. So because she goes now we'll fast forward to where I actually was. She sits down to go to the bathroom, and you see the wolf head, and it starts falling.
Yeah.
And she screams, and then on the back end, you see the the main ranger's face.
It's his
all
head.
Blood. Yeah. All bloody. Yeah.
It's basically his severed head there, and then she freaks out. They all run in. One of them ends up I mean, I like how, I don't know. I guess it feels realistic.
Because one of them pukes.
Everyone's just
they just react horribly to it. Obviously,
panicked.
I mean, how could you not? But
and you just see the guy's head and kind of body parts and guts just kind of strewn around in there.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, they know, and they're all suspecting.
Well, and of course they're so paranoid. Of course, the person they would point to is Edgar.
Yeah.
Because he's the only one that's been acting weird, and they found the canned peaches.
Yeah.
So, they're going off of what the evidence they have, and so this starts that paranoia of, we have to go find Edgar and, and get out of here.
Because the next day, they're all
Well, because they're already kind of on the path of revenge, because what they're going to do is go back to the cabin
and get him
in the early morning while he's still sleeping and try and tie him up, and either that or take the raft down the river to warn people.
Yeah.
So basically, what they do is they go back and they don't find him, but they
Well. So I know because I think that they're all dressed.
Because they're yeah.
Survivalist outfits, but
right, yeah, the blonde has to cover up her blonde hair so it doesn't show in the forest.
There's a girl that has she has dreadlocks, and they have it's those what the fuck do you call
beads.
Yeah, she has beads, and the guy tells her you have to wrap those up because they make too much noise.
So she ties them up. They're all they all have foliage tied to them and stuff like that.
So they're not revealed, but they go up to that cabin. They don't find anything, but you see some shots of
well, you also so when they first enter the cabin, there's a new table with rotten meat on it,
and they're all obviously suspecting.
Well, they're all grossed out because that's probably who you think it is, and it like smells because they all like have to cover their nose.
But they're all suspecting it's the worst possible thing. Also,
Yep.
earlier, one of the guys stole a thing of magic mushrooms
Yes,
from that cabin.
which will come in effect at the end of the movie.
But they look around. Another one of them finds a jar with a hand in it.
Yeah, and he like drops it. He like drops it, but then we get shots of like the woman, the older woman, the girlfriend of the guy that died, and a knife like underneath her nose.
And it's like and like a hand holding her mouth.
And you can see they're looking up through the floorboards, and you can see you can like see shadows
when
like,
they're walking.
when they're walking around.
It's great.
So she's being held hostage underneath the house. And so they don't find anything, so what they do is take the raft, because they're just going to raft down the river and trying to warn the police, because they even say they're like, well, we can't catch him. I don't know where he is in the woods, so let's just like go warn the police and we'll let them handle it.
Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Basically what they were going to do originally, which is like raft down the river and catch the bus.
Yeah.
So they're going to go to that same spot. But as they're like getting the raft ready, it keeps like intercutting with like the woman, like she gets out of the cellar and then she's like sitting there by that table with the meat on it, and you just see like the person in the background.
Well, and then like the person in the background like closes the cellar door and then like shoves a hat on top of her.
Yeah.
And like gets her dressed in different clothing. And so they start rafting. So they go back to the campsite and take whatever they just need, wear the warmest clothes they have, and then they start rafting down the river. So we get a couple shots of them like trying to like proceed through like rapids and other obstacles. They're all trying to row and taking turns like directing it and everything. But we also get some cool shots of like they like pass a rock formation.
And it looks fine.
And then one of the rocks starts moving, and you realize it's like the person in the ghillie suit.
They're like camouflaged.
Yeah, and it's a really well done shot. It was like honestly probably one of the creepiest in the entire movie. It was really well done.
And then there's like another shot where like you see like the woman being like dragged around in the woods. And then in like the background, you see their raft coming closer and closer.
Well, and at this point, like it doesn't make any. You don't know whether she's alive or dead. Like you have no idea.
You don't see.
You have no idea because like she's just being dragged around.
You just see the figure in the hat.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden they're going underneath like a branch, and like something just drops the body of the woman.
And her throat slit.
Yep. And so they like cover it with like a
They all freak out. One of them throws like their shirt on it,
so no one has to look at it.
It's very like haphazard, which
I
appreciate.
And the next scene is them burying her.
And then one of them is like, "Come on, like
we
up.
We don't got time for this. We have to go." Like and also I forgot. It kind of is briefly mentioned that the girl that went to that found the dead body in the bathroom, she can't swim.
Yeah.
So she's like really freaked out about going out of the raft.
Yeah.
But they're trying to like pass under a log, and she doesn't want to get out.
And then one of them's like helping her, and the other guy's just like screaming at her, and they're all just.
Well, this is like the scene where it just becomes very desperate. Like,
well, the whole thing is like
desolate and destitute.
Like little by little, they're just. I mean, it's like you watch any like decent survival movie. There's always that thing where like the group starts fraying. People just start arguing and fighting, and it's just like
this is that scene where it's like they finally kind of like this is the
desperation.
The desperation sets in,
and then they finally get to like this place where they can see where the bus is, and they look up and there's like this bridge in the distance.
Yep, and you can see the bus there with the rafts on it.
And then the guy's like, "It's a trap. We'll go at night. Like we'll go at night just to make sure."
So they go at night. They get to the bus. It doesn't
start.
They get in the bus. They look around. There's nothing there. I mean, their equipment is still there that they left in there, but it's like warm clothes.
Yeah.
So at least they have that. But the wires have been cut on the bus, so it's not going in. It's not going anywhere.
But it's nighttime, so they're gonna sleep. And then one of the guys takes magic mushrooms. Just chill.
But
chill the fuck out.
And then all I hear, son, you think everything's fine,
but you hear like something. It's like something crawling on top of the bus.
And then all of a sudden, one of the women is looking around, and then Axe comes through the window, and they get all freaked out, and then
They run out the.
Well, they run to the front of the bus to try and open the door again, but it's jammed, and then you see the figure come down on the hood,
and it's like this long.
It's like a spear thing. It's like one of those big saws you would use to cut down a branch that's really high in the sky. She the women run towards the back now, and the figure stabs it through the windshield and breaks it, and
they all escape through the back of the bus.
There's an emergency window, and they all break through that,
and then they run through the woods. One of them gets kind of split up, and then she gets attacked by the figure. Gets sliced in the throat,
hit in the throat, but they are able to patch it up.
Because two of them have to run back to the bus and get a first aid kit. One of them has to sew up the wound, and then they're just sitting there, and they're like, okay, we're gonna have to go back to that ravine, and we're gonna have to make a stand for it.
Right, there's a choke point, and we'll see him coming. We can set up a trap for Edgar, and lure him in.
Well, it's gonna be us versus him.
Yeah.
And it's the next day, and the guy who took the magic mushrooms he's cracking.
He's humming along to stuff, and he's like, "Why are you doing that? Stop!" And
and he's like, "This is it. This is why." My favorite bit though is when he's like, "This is why we lost the war."
Yep.
Because the Viet Cong knew the forest, we didn't.
It's so silent.
And then one of the guys is like, "Did you take the fucking mushroom?"
He's like, "I'm not high." But I
almost respect Edgar.
He found this. He finds this circle where this giant tree has fallen over, and it's created this kind of arena, where it's you got a hill on one side and this giant fallen tree. So it's
it literally looks like an arena. Yeah.
It's a circle in the middle.
He's just gonna sit there.
Yeah, this opening.
And they're just like, "Listen, you just."
He starts going on this giant just drug-addled monologue about how
this is why we lost the war, and
how he's gonna win, and how it's so silent. It's perfect. This is the perfect place where he can kill Edgar. He's now if he would just reveal himself, while the others are getting ready, and they're trying to set up traps.
They're putting on dirt on their face. They're wearing leaves all over their body to camoufage themselves.
Well, and they're all talking and everything, and they're getting
you see people climbing the tree. You don't know what they're doing yet.
The guy on the magic mushrooms is still monologuing while he's climbing up the giant tree, and you have no idea what he's doing, because they put the boots on that you can climb trees with,
and the rope.
Yep. And so he goes up, and then he quickly gets back down, and they're ready to set their plan into motion.
And then one of them is just yelling and taunting Edgar.
Yeah, while
it's just totally silent.
While the wild mushroom guy just kind of looks from that arena. Yeah. He just is staring at what's gonna happen. Yeah.
And the guy walks around. It's just completely silent. Yelling for Edgar.
Edgar, where are you? Just come out and show your face. They're gonna get you.
We just want to go home. And
well, he's trying to be the reasonable one. Yeah. He's trying to say they're trying to get you. Let's just in this. Let's come out and we'll talk about this or whatever. And then Edgar shows up behind him and puts a rope around him.
And he's saying, "I told you to stay out of here.
I told you
they're gonna find her. They're gonna find her and all this stuff.
Now you have to die.
They're gonna take her from me." And you're just what the fuck?
And then he's like, "Now!"
All of the guys and everyone.
The women and the men just crowd around Edgar and just beat the holy living shit out of him.
And I love how dark this is, because they're just animal savage, just
they're just wailing on him,
and he's just bleeding to death, and
they're pushing his face into the river,
has a giant rock, and it's just
and at that point this is another creepy scene. You see the guy on the wild mushrooms just grinning while he's watching them,
because he's sitting on top of this tree,
beat the absolute shit out of Edgar, and you see from the internal of the
tree,
the
huge stump.
You see the person in the ghillie suit come out of it.
Yeah.
And
climbing up with the knife.
The figure is climbing up with the knife, and it wraps around the guy's foot,
and it cuts,
and the guy falls and like breaks his neck on the rocks below.
And then you see like him like laying there with his neck all twisted, and everyone looks back, and like this figure just like screams, and you see it's this woman.
Yep.
And then Edgar's just laying there bleeding, and he's like, "Mom,
Mommy, help me!"
And then she like, I fucking love this ending. Is goat shit.
This is like legit, like really fucking.
Like, I like the rest of this movie, but this ending is so...
This made it worth it. It's like
unique and, like, bleak. Because it's just, like, she screams and, like, he's just, like, Mommy, and all bleeding out.
She, like, starts running
and they're all, like,
at...
staring, like, not horrified.
Yeah.
Because it's, like, almost that realization of that fucking campfire tale is real.
It's real. So, she, like, starts, like, walking... like quickly to them and like raising her like,
and you see like
her knives up, and then you see like a tripwire along the logs,
and she trips it, and you see like these axes like come down and like hit.
I love talking about cool fucking camera shots,
dude. This is so fucking...
There's a shot, and I'm not kidding,
multiple shots.
They actually swung this giant fucking log.
It's in the movie,
in the woods.
Yeah.
And they fucking mounted a fucking camera.
There's 2 cameras.
Yeah, they mounted 2 cameras on this fucking log as it's swinging, and it looks so fucking cool. There's one shot
where it like swings, and it's like a camera mounted, and you see it like coming right towards this woman.
Well, and then there's one that's like a side angle, and
where
you see
it,
like
stabs her.
Well, I love it because you can see all like before it even stabs her, you can see all these jagged like angles they made with the fucking sticks all over this fucking log, and this log fucking just totally fucking bodies this woman,
and you just see it like swinging in the forest with this like woman on it, and it's like bloody log.
I love the sideways angle when her like body's on it, and you can see the bloody stick.
Oh, it's so great.
Sticking out of her body, and it's just flying through the fucking woods.
Oh, it's so
it looks
great.
So fucking cool. Like that is like, it's seriously one of my favorite shots I've seen in recent memory.
It's so cool.
It's fucking awesome. And they knew how fucking cool it looked. They wouldn't have mounted that many cameras to it if they didn't think it was fucking cool.
Well, that was just like, it's like they could have shot that like normal, you know, just have a camera on the ground. But it's like they went there.
Well, I also like how they didn't do the thing, because a lot of B movies, when they do like the swinging log thing, it stops when it hits the person.
But you see it
if you know anything about momentum, it wouldn't just stop the log. So if she gets fucking just slammed like to this log, and it keeps on fucking just swinging.
Yeah.
And then like you just see like it finally stops shaking, and you see her like lifeless body, and you see them still holding Edgar down into the like river, and then it just like slowly pans up,
and then the credits.
And credits start rolling.
One other thing is like, I don't know. It's just like the fact that there's no dialogue once you see that reveal, other than him screaming for his mother.
Well,
it's just so perfect.
I love that how they don't have to explain anything. You know exactly. You know the story.
Yeah.
Like if you paid attention in the beginning, you know exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Like that folklore story is true.
That's him.
That's him. He's the one that like broke, and like that's why he looked so weird when they were passing the mental asylum, because
it's all true.
He helped his mom escape.
But it's like that, and then like when they see her, it's like
that
realization in their head of like, oh fuck, it's real. But no, the ending to this is so cool. Every time, the first time I saw this movie, it like that ending fucking blew me away. It was so goddamn cool, and even to this day, like, it's so fucking cool.
It's impressive for like a little B
movie.
For like a little B movie that came out in '83.
Like they went fucking hard on that ending. I mean, the whole movie's good, but that like we always say that like that movie, you know, Metal Storm. Like an ending can really.
I was actually just about to bring that up.
It can make or fucking break a movie.
Like I mean, honestly, this movie's a good enough movie. I would have probably rated it high anyway, but like that ending just like it shot it into the stratosphere for
Yeah.
me. Like, it just it's such a cool and stylish way to end like the main like villain of the movie.
Because it's like you get your big reveal of the film, your big twist at the end, and then it's just like boom. Fucking owned.
Well, I like how almost instantly too, like right after the log hits her and she dies, it ends.
Yeah.
Like there's no end where they like get out of the forest. There's no monologue. There's nothing. It just ends.
Well, it makes it bleaker because it's like before that they're fucking beating him to death like animals, like savages.
Yeah.
And then it's just like they murder this woman with a fucking giant log. It's just like you don't need that thing of like, oh, they're happily ever after. Because for me, like the whole film, the atmosphere, the mood, it's fucking bleak.
It is very bleak.
And it's like, even though, yeah, they technically, I guess, won, it's that thing where it's like,
what's crazy to me is it's not a really high body count in this movie either. But, like, it's effective. Like, the deaths, what sets in everything into motion is effective enough to keep the story going.
Well, it's constant. It's also constantly moving.
So you can't really call it a slasher, but it is, like, a thriller.
Oh, yeah.
So, like... Because, like, it's not enough death to call it a slasher, even though there is, like, a slasher character in it.
Mm.
But, like, it's just such a cool, like, thriller, like, in the woods movie.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's a hidden gem, if you ask me. Like, honestly.
You have the beautiful fucking on-location filming in the forest. You have, like, all your actors doing all that shit, like, running around the river, rafting. They're dirty. It's just... I mean, really, how many, like, I'm not counting that opening. On screen, really? 2 deaths?
But it's effective and see, like...
From the slasher, that is.
What's crazy is, like, it's effective. It's still really effective with only having 2 on-screen deaths.
Because even then, like, there's the scene where the girl gets lost, and she gets her neck cut. But it's, like, it's still suspenseful, because it's, like, they have to go back to the bus, and they have to get first aid. And then... one of them has to sew it back.
Well, there's always, like, reasons why they're going from point to point, right?
Well, it feels... I don't know. It feels real, I guess, for me. It feels like something... It feels plausible.
Yeah,
like
I agree.
The way people react, how, like, the first time they see the dead body, one of them throws up. You know, it's very... It feels like something plausible.
Well, it feels very, like, you know... I mean, a lot of films have explored this, but, like, animalistic, like, our animalistic nature comes out. So,
because
like,
little by little, it's like by the end of the film, they've almost, like, degraded down.
Well, they've dehumanized...
to her level.
They've dehumanized Edgar so much that they're willing to all gang up on him and kill him.
And violently murder him.
Yes, and, yeah, violently murder him. Like, even with, like, almost zero proof that he actually killed those people.
Zero tolerance.
And then it is revealed that they were beating the shit out of the wrong person.
Yeah.
Even though Edgar just wanted to protect... And then even Edgar has his own, like, reasons for why...
He's protecting his mom.
He's protecting his mom. He doesn't want them to be there, but he also doesn't want them to die. So it's like there's reasons everyone is in the woods at this certain point. And it's almost like the...
It's good filmmaking.
It's really good. It's effective. It creates a good
mood,
for the whole. It's a whole tone for the movie.
Yeah,
and it's great. And that in shot with the log is fucking incredible. If you do anything, just go to YouTube and search that scene. If you don't want to watch the movie, fine. But, like, search that scene. It's cool as shit.
It's cool as shit. But I'm not gonna lie. Like, once you sit through the hour, 30-minute film, that ending is. Woo!
Now, apparently, you were saying you can watch this movie on Amazon Prime, but it's the commentary
Well, if
track.
you have
Shout Factory.
If you have the Shout Factory subscription.
Because this was released by Scream Factory, which is a brand
subsidiary.
Yeah. So, like, you can go to Scream Factory, and I think they do sell this movie.
Oh, they do.
So
I think you can watch it. So it's kind of the weird thing where it's like if you have a subscription to Shout Factory, you can watch it on Amazon, but it's the commentary version. Or you can pay the $3 to watch a non-commentary version. Because honestly, I don't know why the hell they have the commentary version for people to watch as opposed to the.
I mean, honestly, that's kind of cool. I might actually go watch the commentary. I just want to know what the
I'd be curious
the
who's on
thought
it.
process was for this entire movie. It'd be really cool to kind of delve into that.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see who's on it.
Yeah. I mean, I would hope it was the director, but
If
I
it's,
guess
it better be the director because
Yeah.
I would love. I don't know. I respect it.
I do too.
I
For
respect
like a
it.
beginning effort and like for a B movie, it kind of slaps.
It aims high. I definitely get how maybe some fucking producers had no idea how to like market this thing, because I feel like a lot of people probably go into this thinking that it is going to be like Friday the 13th, which don't get me wrong, I love
Like
Friday the 13th.
like a wood slasher.
a camp,
Yeah, a camp
'cause it's
slasher.
like, oh, kind of like young people in the woods camping. Okay. I mean, yeah, but not really. It's like Friday the 13th is like popcorn entertainment, and I love Friday the 13th.
It's almost like a character study.
But this is like it's like a slower, more patient film with lots of fucking just I don't know. Plus, like the way it's filmed and the way it's handled, it feels almost I don't know. Has a very gritty kind
Yeah.
of feel.
Well, it's a slow burn, but the payoff is awesome.
Oh my god, that payoff.
Um,
Oh my god.
but yeah, like if you're into this kind of shit, do yourself a favor and go watch it.
Check it out. Final Tear.
The Final Terror. Shitty to pretty. It's gonna be pretty high for me. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I already liked the movie, and then the ending just like kind of like bumped it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of funny because like the first time I watched this movie on my own, like years ago, I wouldn't have given it this high of a rating, but I'm gonna say a 9.
Shitty to
Yeah.
pretty is never like we never
It's
differ.
never differ.
We never differ. Like I haven't like loved it. Well, I think we differed on like Inframan because that was my shit.
Well, I mean, that's not fair because Inframan is like your personality
It
on
was
screen.
that was my shit. So I think I gave like Inframan a 10, and
But-
you gave it like a 6.
No, I
But,
gave it like an 8, I think, but still.
But that's like the
quite
only
a 10.
movie I think we've actually like kind of disagreed on. It was not even really a disagreement. It's just like that was like my shit.
Yeah.
But like
Wait, that's why we started this.
it's true because we agree on a lot of things. So yeah, a 9 is what I was gonna give it too because I don't think it has enough to make it a full 10 for
It's
me.
not. Yeah, it's not
Um,
quite that. Which don't get me wrong, a 9 is a very fucking.
It's a high rating. I mean, but like you have to be like something. Like you have to be Death Force to be like a 10. You know.
You have
Like-
to be.
Like you have to subvert like all my expectations and make it just a fucking incredible movie.
You have to be like next of kin.
Yeah,
Something like where it's just masterpiece. To
yeah. Like why haven't I heard of this fucking movie
Yeah.
before? And yes, the ending is fucking lit as fuck in this movie, but it doesn't quite bump it to a 10 for me because the rest of the movie is really good, but it's like just not like
I think it's like
not,
one of
not
those
like
things,
masterpiece level.
I think it's one of those things where like the low budget probably bumps it down from a 10 to a 9, but still, don't get me wrong.
But it's still a good movie. It's still great. Like you should still go watch it.
A
Like
9 out
it's
of
still
10.
it's still a really good time. Like it's still highly recommended.
Yeah. For a movie that like people don't either ignore or they just shit on, 9 out of 10.
It's good.
Trust me.
Yeah. You'll have a good time
Yeah.
if this is your kind of thing. So yeah.
I think this is one of those things that you just have to go into it like blind.
Mm-hmm.
Don't no and ignore that opening.
Yep.
Just
Yeah, just skip the first like 10 minutes
skip
or so.
to when the actual opening credits starts.
Yeah.
And there you go. That's where the movie truly begins.
That's the true beginning of the movie. But yeah, so the Final Terror. That's it. Good
That's
movie. Awesome ending.
Yeah. Good
so,
shit.
Yeah, that's all I got.
That's it.
For They Mostly Come Out at Night. This has been Will.
This has been Alex.
And we will talk to you all for the final time in like 4 months later.
Be our final terror.
Next time will be our
Next
final
time.
terror.
It'll be oh honey.
I'm not ready.
You know when you see it you'll be like, oh, but for now you're not ready.
I ain't ready. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening.
How do you close these doors? Is this button? Okay.
This button? Okay. Oh